Welcome. My name is Daniel Cairns, as you already can tell. I want to thank you all for attending. And as I said earlier, not donating your time, it is investing your time in something like this. This event is designed to provide crucial information regarding the data science with machine learning and AI career accelerator, including specific details about the Python assessment, the self-assessment application process, and what you can expect from the program. This program is in collaboration with the Cambridge Institute of Continuing Education, or now known as PACE, which is Professional and Continuing Education, and is designed for individuals looking to either advance their careers in data science or transition into a data science related career. Today, we'll cover a brief overview of the program, and I've got a special offer that you may or may not be aware of as well. The Python requirements, the test and expectations, how to prepare for that effectively, and how we can support you with that. I'll give you even some sample test questions so you're even more familiar with it than what you thought you may be, and additional support available to help you succeed in your transition or your advancement of your career. Before we do move on, I thought I'd just ask a question also of you in the audience. Welcome to those that are just joining. In the chat, as you've listed already where you're residing or where you're joining from, if you could list your level of Python proficiency, be it none, beginner, intermediate, or advanced. So none of it matters. We can assist anyone, but just so I can tailor the content towards the majority of the audience, do you have no Python skills? If so, put in the chat channel none. Do you have beginner or basic Python skills or understandings? Put basic in the chat if you're intermediate or if you're advanced. So we've got a fair few with none. We've got some with basic, some beginners. Perfect, John. Thank you. Intermediate, none, not a problem. Okay, that helps me a great deal. And if others want to pop their level of competence in, that will help me a great deal as well. Right, I'm going to start, as I said, with a brief overview of the program. It's a unique form of education, the Career Accelerator model. It is purely designed for career impact. So our design process of our content is a true collaboration between Cambridge and our industry partners and employer partners. So that way, industry and academia come together and understand from both perspectives what is going to benefit our learners for the immediate impact of their careers. So what you learn is not only highly practical, and I'll touch on that in a moment, it is in high demand from an employer perspective. When we partnered with industry, the one thing that they were insistent on is that they found challenge in recruiting people from technical backgrounds that don't have the business application of the technical. So they can't have that immediate impact that they're seeking when investing in a position dealing with data. So even in the course titles that you'll see in a moment, it is all related to, it's a highly technical program, but it is all also heavily related towards the business impact of the technical. So it blends academic rigor with practical application. So you gain hands-on skills, you build a portfolio and collaborate with leading organisations such as the Bank of England or Pure Gym or many others on real-world projects. This session will highlight the support structure that makes the balanced learning and life achievable. The Data Science with Machine Learning AI Career Accelerator is a highly practical program, as I said, co-designed between Cambridge, PACE, Fourth Rev and industry leaders to ensure that you, graduates, are prepared for the real-world data science roles that you are striving for. Here's what makes the program very unique. So just before I touch on that, as you'll see there, course one, there's 5 portfolio activities and 2 projects applying statistics and core data science in business. Even the titles have that business application. But those portfolio and projects make up then what is your digital portfolio moving forward. So you have a week's reflection after that 6-week course before course 2, where there's 11 portfolio activities and 1 significant project at the end that you contribute to all the way through the 6 weeks. And that course 2 is solving business problems with supervised learning. Course 3, there's 6, and this goes for 8 weeks, not 6 weeks. This is applying advanced data science techniques, where you go through 6 portfolio activities and 2 projects to build your digital portfolio as well. All of your learning outcomes then contribute to your opportunity of conducting and participating in a live employer-facing project. So to frame that quickly for you, yourself along with 5 or 6 other high caliber learners, many of whom may be in the audience today, we'll meet with one of our employer partners. As I've mentioned before, there's been all sorts of large commercial, the largest, I think we can say, Inchcape, the largest automotive retailer in the world, Pure Gym on a really high level and strategic global expansion using data science strategy, Bank of England on amazing projects relating to their policy announcements and how they should vary using data science techniques across different mediums and platforms. And we also did one with Bank of England on using modern data science techniques to predict things like the 2008 financial crisis. So together, you'll meet with one of our employer partners. They'll present to you a real challenge and the data sets required to work through that. As a team, through the application of learning of course 1, 2, and 3, you'll come up with innovative and tangible solutions to that scenario, presenting your recommendations back to the employer partner in a consultancy style presentation that you will receive, obviously, then feedback on. The benefit of that is numerous. It is practical application of learning in the real world, and again, another string to your bow in terms of adding that project outcome to your digital portfolio. It is a much better way to more deeply network with your peers, but also leaders of industry doing the project. And lastly, if it is a career change you're seeking or advancement, it is a much more powerful demonstration of your value to a prospective or current employer through the demonstration of a real industry experience that you've had than it ever would be to, say, recite an exam result. I should stress there's no exams in the program because employers don't value exams at all. Instead of traditional exams, you submit your portfolio activities and projects to build your digital portfolio through hands-on real-world examples. So everything that you do contributes to your portfolio development. You'll also have the opportunity of networking, both with leaders of industry, but also with your peers. And you'll do that in a number of ways. We develop a very, very strong sense of community within the learning platform where you contribute to discussions, you see others' implementation of real world examples either succeed or fail and learn from that. But you'll also get to go to Mattingley Hall behind me here twice, at least twice, and forevermore. We host 2 events per year at Mattingley Hall, one for networking, one for your graduation, a celebration, and invite current learners that are already further into the program than you may be, and our alumni network as well. And recently, we had that event at Mattingley Hall where there were 70 graduates from one cohort, and literally represented across like 13 different countries that had flown to the UK. Some brought family along and had an amazing experience meeting their tutors from Cambridge, meeting each other, but really experiencing Cambridge for what it is. And it is just an amazing venue, facility, and it has the aura that you would expect then when you receive your certificate from Cambridge as well. 7 months. It is intensive, but it is designed to fit in with you more so than you fit in with university. What I mean by that is that there's a blend of synchronous and asynchronous delivery. So synchronous live sessions each week with both the Cambridge academics. You'll do 2 sessions per week with them, usually of a lunchtime and one of an evening to break it up. They are recorded if you can't attend live, but always best to attend live, as you can imagine. And then every fortnight, you'll also attend a live session with an industry mentor. This is someone that's so passionate about the collaboration that we have, but also the currency that the learning outcomes have in business today. So they'll ensure that that relevance remains all the way through. So I'd say 20% live and then 80% asynchronous, meaning it is designed to fit in with you rather than you fit in with university. You choose when and how study fits around your other life priorities. But it is roughly 20 hours per week, so it is challenging. There are some sacrifices to be made, but you get a lot of support in relation to structuring your study as well. Applying for the program is really straightforward. What you'll need and what the entry criteria is that you have completed an undergraduate degree, as this is aimed at postgraduate level, that you have completed an undergraduate degree with at least a quantitative unit of study previously and have 1 year of professional experience using or relating in some way, shape, or form to with data. So it doesn't have to be that you've been an analyst specifically. It could be that you're a pharmacist dealing with the compounds and the data surrounding all those types of things. It could be that you're in sales and dealing with forecasting and revenues and all sorts of things like that. So a bachelor degree with a quantitative unit of study, 1 year of professional experience exposed or managing or related to data, and basic Python knowledge that we'll come to in a moment, that we're going to walk through more definitively. I just wanted to touch on also before I move on to the next slide, actually, is that the value also lies with the support that you receive throughout the program. And it's not only the Cambridge academics that are there to support you and the industry mentor, there's also a success manager for anything course related or platform related. But most importantly for all of you is the addition of an executive career coach guiding you towards you achieving your intended outcomes sooner. And what I mean by that is you get one-on-one career coaching with a very experienced career coach monthly throughout the program, setting you up to define your goals first and foremost, and then executing on a strategy in which to achieve that. That is our North Star metric, your career outcomes. And very quickly in the Career Accelerator model, we realize that the value of the coaching isn't just during the program, it's beyond when you're actually applying for roles and you've got that confidence of all the new skills behind you, your transferable skills that your career coach has helped you bring to the fore, and you're applying for roles. So the career coaching is extended by 6 months beyond the program to help you achieve your intended outcome sooner. And the majority of our learners certainly do within that 6 months. And if you don't achieve your outcome, we'll keep coaching going. There's thousands of pounds of value in the coaching aspect of the program. So if you have any questions, I forgot to mention this earlier. If you have any questions, please pop them in the Q&A function. Is there a Q&A? Or in the chat? Just pop them in the chat and I'll get to them as well. In the chat. Right. So I'm going to walk, John, thank you for your question. I'm going to walk through the Python aspects first, and I'm going to come to your question first after that as well. 1 second. So part of the entry criteria is that you have a working understanding of Python. It doesn't need to be that you're a Python expert. The intent is for you to be learning data science using Python on day one rather than the basics of Python. So to give you an understanding of what would be required, I guess it's, using in course one, structured data handling, exploratory analysis, data cleaning, all those types of things that you would expect to be doing during a program such as this. And you've all got the brochure, I'm sure, to look really in depth at the statistical aspects of the basics of data science. It takes you on a journey from that towards obviously being a fully fledged data scientist. But the areas of Python specifically around the libraries of NumPy and Pandas and some visualization. So it's not that you need to know the full gamut. We'll teach you that all throughout the program and you'll pick up a lot as you go, but enough for you to start confidently and competently in course one. We can help you. So if many of you mentioned that you don't have Python skills, but if you've got the strong background or if you've coded in a different language before or have an understanding, it's quite easy to pick up and we will help you. What we will do is provide you a free course to get your Python skills to the point of passing this technical assessment. And that's about a 20-hour course that we can do. How you access that is submitting your application, receiving a letter of offer, having a discussion with your enrolment advisor and securing your placement with a 10% deposit. and then you'll get access to the learning materials for Python, and then you'll take the test when you're ready, well ahead of the February commencement. It is a self-assessment. It is this test or this assessment is designed to give you the confidence to know where you sit and that you're comfortable in making that pardon me, that commencement. It's not timed. It's 13 questions, 10 of which are multiple choice, and three basic coding examples. An 80% pass mark is required. 90% of our participants pass successfully after doing the 20-hour Python Python program that we can provide. It is open source, so you can check anywhere for the answers. It's not timed, as data scientists do. It's not timed, but must be completed in a single session, so not to log out and log back in. So I'll walk you through some of that now, just to give you an understanding of what the test will look like. And don't forget to pop your questions in there as well. And then I'm going to go through your questions. I'm going to go through pricing plans and capacity constraints. And I've got a special offer for everyone that's attending as well. Um, if we can jump onto the next slide. So you'll see here, uh, Python is one of the most widely used programming language in data science due to its readability, simplicity, and powerful libraries. It's beginner friendly and commonly used for tasks such as analysis, machine learning, statistical computing, automating repetitive tasks, and machine learning is the heavy focus that we go into in the program, obviously. The program doesn't assume prior programming experience. Instead, we ensure that you develop Python skills through structured learning and practical exercises. So you'll see on the left-hand side there, as an example of one of the questions in the technical assessment, syntax refers to the rules that define Python code or how Python code is written and structured. So here are some concepts. The variables, the data types. Python has different data types like strings, lists, dictionaries, all those types of things. Functions, blocks of reusable code that perform specific tasks. Loops and conditionals, so used to execute repetitive actions or make decisions in the code. And list slicing, extracting parts of the list using syntax. You'll see on the left-hand side then a multiple choice. What is the syntax for slicing a list, for example? Then we move on to the sample coding assessment. So on the right-hand side, you'll see write your code in the editor. There's an editor that is enabling you to work through the coding assessment. You click submit when you finish. You'll reflect down, and do not copy paste blocks of code directly into the editor, but you can source information to help you through that sample coding example. And it's quite straightforward, as I mentioned as well. And there's help functions within there. So it's not timed. It's really straightforward. So long as you've got the support that you realize that you have with Fourth Rev and Cambridge behind you, but that if you have zero experience, it is critical you do the 20-hour program that we can provide after securing your placement. I'm going to get into questions. John, I think, came up first, but seems to be coming up second. And I've got heaps of more information to provide you as well. But let's get into some questions first. What is the difference between a career accelerator and a master's in data analytics, besides price, time, and length? Good question, John. It's varied, and it's comprehensive, the difference, I think, too. So first and foremost, it's industry based. So your learning is highly academic, obviously with Cambridge's input into the content. But as I mentioned earlier, it is education designed for career impact. So it is designed around what employers want. And I said earlier, the challenge that employers mention that they have is recruiting talent from things like masters, and then having to teach them the business application of the technical, whereas this will provide you the business, all of it is the business application of the technical skills that you will learn. In addition to that, in addition to that, it is the career support. So everything that we do is focused towards you achieving your intended career outcome. It's probably a good time to ask another question. I'll keep going with an answer, John, but it brings me to ask everyone, can you pop in the chat? Um, are you looking to change careers into data science, advance your career in existing career in data science, or even commence your career, I guess? But are you looking to change, advance, or add data science to your existing role, I guess? So if you can pop that in the chat as well. John's a changer. So, John, many differences. Obviously, the length and time and cost are different. The way in which this is delivered is completely different. It's not just your academic lectures and you digesting that information and then going through embedding the learning and then demonstrating your competence in an examination. It's completely different. Everything that you do builds a portfolio so that you can show with much pride a portfolio to a prospective employer that probably expects to see it, but also be coached into how to make it stand out. If you think about roles that are available or advertised, it's challenging for employers to sift through portfolios, but one that stands out from the outset and one that can demonstrate the business application of the technical for impact is going to stand out regardless, and you get coached in doing that as well. Changes, advanced career in finance, Cindy, advanced software engineering career with data science. You're amongst peers, all of you. So there's already people in the February cohort that are very similar to some of the backgrounds as yourself. And lastly, John, just to finish on that question while I interject with reading some of the answers, is um, is that career coaching aspect that you wouldn't receive so much in a master's. You might have a careers advisor, maybe a HR graduate or something similar that talks to you about your resume and your LinkedIn profile. This relationship that you develop with your career coach over a minimum of 12 months and potentially longer is one that is going to have a significant impact on you achieving your intended outcome sooner. So it is that intersection of industry and academia that make the Career Accelerator unique and very different to a master's. It is aimed at postgraduate level in terms of the academic rigor, but it is the support, the coaching, the networking, and the industry links that make it so much different as well. So great question, John. Thank you. Awona's asked, how are the projects assigned? So great question, Awona. The projects are amazing. It's a real cornerstone, and that's another point of difference, John, is the real industry project that you'll work on as well. But the projects, we often look at forming the teams around your intended outcome. So it might be that we have a blend of people looking to advance their existing career and some to change their careers. We don't really have career starters in this program because of the entry criteria. And it may be levels of seniority, levels of experience, and even geography. So looking at all different aspects of what your intended outcome is and what project then best aligns. But it might be that there's a project with one of our employer partners that many teams work on in different teams, if you know what I mean. So you get also the benefit of seeing different outcomes, speaking with different people on the program and understanding how they may have approached a challenge differently than what you did as well. Dina's asked here, are most employed students sponsored by their employers? Great question, Dina, and I'm going to go through the costs now. The costs of the program are £8,395, everything included, including that up to 18 months of career coaching, which is worth many thousands of pounds. There's nothing more to purchase, and there is a £500 fee reduction available to you if you elect to pay upfront. Also, we offer interest-free payment plans to make it accessible for more learners. We do cap our numbers, and I'll move to that next, but the interest-free payment plans look like this. You can elect to do a 6-month plan or a 9-month plan with no fees and no interest associated with that. Or if you need longer, we do have a finance provider in StepX, our trusted finance partner, who for a £20 application fee, once successful, they'll extend the payment plans over 24 months, about £300 a month, for 24 months with no interest associated with the loan as well. Obviously, it's a finance application. There is criteria behind your ability to service the loan, but also visa requirements that you're an EU or UK citizen or visa holder whose right to work lasts more than 12 months beyond the completion of the program. So, in answer to your question, though, Dina, some um, some of our learners are certainly employer sponsored. I wouldn't say the majority, though. I'd say the majority is self-funding to change careers. And I guess why would you go to an employer when you want to take off in a different career? However, there are many that are employer sponsored in one of two ways. Some are lucky enough to have both employer sponsorship in terms of the finances. We can arrange any form of split of invoicing between you and your employer. However, it is up to you to secure your placement with a 10% deposit, and then they can refund it or they can pay the balance or half of the balance, whatever is the arrangement we can adapt our invoicing to after you've secured with a 10% deposit. Some employers also support our learners with time, and it's often just as valuable when you think about it. But if you can demonstrate, and we've got tools to help you demonstrate this to your employers if you need it, you just speak with your enrolment advisor and they'll give you all the tools that you need to have a fruitful discussion with your employer. And what is often really powerful is demonstrating to your employer that you have a letter of offer from Cambridge, that you've been accepted, and then demonstrate the benefit to them, the employer, in terms of the learning outcomes and being so applicable for the business. So then you can say, would you consider sponsoring me for the program? Would you consider part sponsoring? Would you consider a mix of finance and time? It's a really common thing to do and really valuable thing to do. But if you can go to your employer with a letter of offer after you've secured your placement, then I think that would look really, really good on yourself as well. Other questions? We've got advances. We've got, is it feasible to do this course alongside a full-time job? Delaney's asked, realistically, how much time do we have to set aside for this weekly? Great question. I'm going to walk you through, Delaney and everyone, potentially what a week would look like for you. So it's clear. And in answer to your first part of that question, is it feasible to do this course alongside a full-time job? I would suggest the vast majority of our learners are working full-time, but they fit it in. But they do make sacrifices, and I'll come to the sacrifices in a moment. Monday, you're enthused for a new week. You've had a bit of downtime over the weekend. You come home from work. Actually, you're on your way to work, depending on how you commute. You can digest some of the content on your commute. So you might set your day up by listening to something or watching something on the tube, for example. I don't know how you all commute, but you can picture your own individual circumstances. You might be an early bird, and before you breakfast and that, you get online, you check in for an hour or so, and you set up your week. You come home from work on a Monday, very enthused about what to attack for the week. You're really clear on what's going to be achieved, and you do a couple of hours on a Monday evening after dinner and whatnot. Tuesday, you have a live session during lunchtime, UK lunchtime, where you'll hear from the Cambridge academic on that module for that week. You'll go through some of the learning outcomes. You'll go through some of what's important to achieve in the week, and you'll start also engaging with your fellow learners on the Circle platform about the implementation of learning or whatever it may be, a topic of the day, supporting each other in that regard. Tuesday night, you again enthused, you come home and you've probably got an hour or two of study time to knock over. Wednesday gets hard. It was an awful day of rain and sleet and whatever in London. Your commute home was delayed and it was hard. You got home, you had dinner, you put the kids to bed or whatever you did, and your partner says, let's start that Netflix series. The first thing you do is say, no, remember, I've got to make sacrifices to fit this in with my life. We're not going to start a series together. But what I will do, I'll sit down with you tonight and watch something else. Or you show up for 10 minutes. And what I mean by that is you don't feel like studying, but you show up for 10 minutes, you check in on the chat, you check in on your to-do list or whatever, and you might only do 10 minutes and say, no, I'm too tired, I'm shutting the laptop, that's it. At least you've shown up. You might also show up for 10 minutes and get really enthused and dive down the rabbit holes and get a whole heap done, and you find you've knocked over an hour or two. Thursday, similar, you've got an evening session then with the Cambridge academic and probably a session with the industry mentor each fortnight, and you'll do a couple of hours on a Thursday evening. Friday, you've got dinner plans, you go out. Saturday and Sunday, you probably reserve 4-hour chunks each day, and there's your study for the week, basically. So you can see it's intensive to achieve going from sometimes zero to being a data scientist in 7 months. It has to be intensive, but it's relevant and it's up to the minute relevant. We're always updating our content because when you think about AI, it is changing so fast. This program provides you the building blocks to build AI tools. It is completely, enhancing machine learning aspects of AI. You'll use it the whole way through. So it is critical. And John, back to your question earlier, it is critical that whatever you're looking at, you ask the age of the content. Because if it's 18 months, 2 years of age, it's out of date, really. So it's up to the minute relevant and it's maintained always through that industry partnership as well. So, Delaney, yes, in answer to your question, it can be done alongside full-time roles, family. I encourage you to always engage with your family around the sacrifice that needs to be made, um, and see the pride in their eyes when you've been accepted by Cambridge, and you're building a better future for them all through higher earning capacity, change of careers, happiness, whatever it may be that motivates you to be here and to be inquiring, is what you're setting out to achieve, and they should be very, very proud of that too. Dina, I'm going to send a link in a moment to book a time with an enrolment advisor to discuss how to approach your employer. Roman's asked specifically regarding the questions surrounding Python. Do all 13 questions refer to content of the provided practice materials or general computer science knowledge questions also included? Roman, yeah, there's specific Python questions, 13 of them, 10 are multiple choice that you'll be able to do. I have zero technical ability and knowledge, but it wasn't hard for me to source where I needed to source the information from to get 10 out of 10 on the multiple choices. It was more challenging for me to do the coding examples, but again, you'll be able to certainly find that out. So all 13 questions relate to the Python basics and fundamentals that enable you to start the program with full confidence as well. I just want to touch on a special that we have. You may have already seen this in your inboxes, but we've only got. I'll check this. I don't know how many we've got left. We were capped at 30 learners, but they may. I know a majority of these have gone, so there might be 10 of these left. It's called a Head Start package, and what it entails is giving you front-ended value to your decision, and a leg up before you start. And what I mean by that is you'll get three things if you submit your application and secure your placement as quickly as you can. You'll get an executive data pitch clinic that takes place in January. So it's a small group workshop with a senior data leadership coach to craft, refine, and rehearse an AI project pitch. It's so important to be able to have that skill in your repertoire. You'll get that in that session with an AI leader or a senior data leader. You'll also get an exclusive invite to what I think is absolutely amazing. And I want you to realize the value of this. I'm assuming most of us know who Ernst& Young are, or EY, one of the biggest consulting firms in the world. They reached out to us earlier this year and said, "We think this program is amazing. We would like to access the talent pool that comes from it. We would also like to provide value to your learners." So they have a AI consulting masterclass that you'll get access to, which also takes place before the program commences. So you'll access a private masterclass with Ernst& Young and their AI strategy leaders, and these are global leaders, recognized names in the AI sphere, sharing their four futures of AI framework, what they look for when recruiting AI and data science talent, and other insights to be able to network with senior leaders within Ernst& Young. And lastly, early career coaching. We'll give you 2 additional career coaching sessions before the program commences so that you can set up and hit the ground running with your goals defined before you start and a pathway towards achieving them in those 2 sessions. So Executive Data Pitch Clinic, Ernst& Young Global AI Consulting Masterclass, and 2 additional career coaching sessions should you be able to apply and secure your placement. I'd suggest this week before those 30 placements go out. There's the application. The application really only takes 5 minutes. You just need your resume, your transcript or certificate of your previous studies, and your identity document. That's it. If you haven't got a bachelor's degree with a quantitative unit of study, but you've been dealing heavily with data in a in some format for the last 5 years, we will look at that and give our recommendation to Cambridge on an edge case basis as well. So you can get through there with professional experience, not just the academic experience. But if you've got a quantitative unit within your finance degree or whatever it is that you've studied previously, that with your 1 year of experience will more than meet the criteria. So it's really easy to apply. Any other questions for me regarding Python, regarding the test or the self-assessment? Do you want me to spell out really clearly the process again? And then I'll wrap everything up. So the process from here is one of two things. Submit your application to ensure that you're one of the remaining 10 that has access to that Head Start package, those 3 items that I just mentioned. You'll then get an outreach, or you can book a time with your enrolment advisor. It is a critical piece of the enrolment process. And it's not an interview at all. It's an open discussion around your motivation to study, how it's going to align with your intended outcomes, what payment plan you'd prefer, and the support that you'll receive. So those 2 items are critical. Lodge your application, book a time with your enrolment advisor, or if you lodge your application, an enrolment advisor will reach out to you for a very open and supportive discussion. If you need Python, then obviously you do. You'll then receive a letter of offer and your 10% deposit invoice to secure your placement and access to our free Python course. That runs over 20 hours, so you can fit it in over a week or 2 or 3 or whatever suits you, and you'll get additional Python support throughout. You'll then nominate when you're ready to take that self-assessment, those 13 questions. You'll get an answer instantly to your outcome. And as I said earlier, 90% pass without a drama at all. So you've got lots of support, a free Python program. You've got an amazing array of benefits from the Data Pitch Clinic, the EY Global Consulting Masterclass, and the additional 2 coaching sessions before the program even starts. And you've got interest-free payment plans if that's what you need to help you achieve your intended outcome of advancing, as some of you are, or changing your career to have a more meaningful purpose to your work, to earn more, whatever the motivation is to change your career, to future-proof your career. You've got lots of opportunity to do that with this. What about learning how? Thanks, John, and thank you for your contribution. What about learning how to use other tools like SQL or Power BI? Data analytics, John, not data science, I'll say. Looking at that, we've got a different program for data analytics with a different university partner, but machine learning with AI and using large language models to work ways in which to use data to predict rather than to look at what happened, I think is the biggest difference. I couldn't sum it up. So very different in that regard. And you'll be using Python for visualization and at a much deeper level than you would with our other Career Accelerator in data analytics. SQL and Power BI, yeah, much more so for obviously Power BI for presentation, visualization, and SQL for database and so forth, but more aligned with data analytics. This is certainly more focused on data science. So I hope that helps. And John, if you need to chat with one of the enrolment advisors about what's best for you, I'll give you an analogy. You wouldn't go from being a nurse to a surgeon without becoming a doctor in between. And I guess data analytics is that doctor step, although we've had many learners successfully transition into data science with, some form of technical background, finance backgrounds, computer science backgrounds, or engineering type backgrounds. But that's a fair analogy to think of the stepping stone. So we can certainly help you with that as well. John, your enrolment advisor will be able to talk to you about both programs if you haven't spoken with them as yet. Hopefully I've covered everything for you. We want to meet you at Mattingley Hall, which is where Cambridge is located. Cambridge Pace is located. Lodge your applications. It'll only take you 5 minutes. We'll support you with Python. We'll support you with coaching. We'll support you with those other value add items I mentioned. But most of all, we will sort of celebrate your success, not only here, but wherever we can. We've got amazing ways in which we celebrate our learner outcomes. Um, Pleasingly, someone really unexpectedly, one of our alumni recently got a role in a Formula One team that we're really, really proud of, and he's over the moon with. He's still within his probationary period, so we won't mention which team yet, but they weren't quite the world champions. Um, Amongst all sorts of return to work mums that have got amazing roles re entering the workforce, there's been a plethora of people using it in the finance fields. NHS, we've got a lady that transitioned as a mature age student into the NHS in a data role, unrelated previous experience, although academically gifted. She's now heading up a department within the NHS relating to data. So the success stories that we have are just so inspiring, and hopefully, with what we can provide you both before the program and obviously during and beyond, you'll be one of those that we celebrate. So we do look forward to welcoming, supporting you, but most of all, celebrating your success. Don't forget to join our Q&A to meet other interested learners. That's coming up. Book a call or start your application. The three links that you need are there. Thank you. You've invested time in yourself today. Now is about committing to that next step and achieving your intended outcomes in 2026, which is really, really just around the corner. Thanks, Sam, in the background for organising the event. Let's get you Python confident, and studying data science as quickly as possible. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.